Everybody, today is the 21st of March 2012. We are going to hear very briefly the origins of life and 21 December, the end of the Mayan calendar, this Mayan calendar explained. Don't forget to soak your nuts. This is Mike Island. I'll make this brief. I haven't checked in a while because I don't drive out to Montauk every day anymore. So I actually have a lot of work locally I need to do now. So in any case, I just wanted to say howdy doody, remind you to soak your nuts, if you remember. That makes them a lot more easily digestible. So you'll actually gain everything you're looking for out of the amino acid in the protein that you're eating nuts for. In any case, we're about to hear pretty much the most clear and concise explanation of the end of the Mayan calendar, the end of this Mayan calendar, the beginning of the next Mayan calendar that's coming. As he says, just like when your calendar that you have on your wall ends at the end of December, you get a new one and you put it up, because it's just like any other calendar. It ends, there's another one that starts. I'm sick of hearing everybody think, oh, it's the end of everything. It's the beginning of everything. This whole alignment that's happening very possibly will be bringing enlightenment to a lot more of the population, which hopefully, can't come too soon, because everybody being complacent, at least, in America, and just letting them do whatever they do to us, needs to come to an end, because it's getting a little ridiculous. Obama just signed last Friday. He just signed the National Defense Resource Reclamation Act or some crap, where basically they've started it after World War II, when the Cold War started, just in case we're going to end up having to deal with nukes being lobbed over and stuff from Russia, that they could take over some of these things like natural resources, water, the farms, and they'll do what they have to do to, I guess, to make sure that they're, that the government gets fed first. But in any case, he just changed it so that it's not necessarily needing to be an act of war. It could be just, the economy, or, pretty much whatever reason he makes up. So in any case, they are really lining everything up for the martial law that everybody's been so afraid is going to be put in place, because they can't really do much of anything else that's not now legal. Everything is, they made it all legal. The NDAA and that he signed on New Year's Eve, that we're going to have a presidency of openness and transparency, and then New Year's Eve he signs the thing saying that basically, just extending what the Patriot Act already put out there, that they can arrest you without reading your rights or charging you and keeping you indefinitely. The NDAA now, I believe, went as far as to, they could execute you if you want, just without any, court case or any of that stuff on American soil. The CIA is doing business on American soil, which is supposed to be illegal. There's all kinds of ridiculous stuff. This show, actually, it's from the 20th, the spring equinox, March 20th of 2012, on Mr. Super Potato Tomato. The first 2 hours was Alex Jones breaking down all the stuff that's going on, which is a little bit frightening to hear the head of, what is he? The head of the Defense Secretary, Leon Panetta, telling the Congress 5 times after the Congress is stating that they need to ask for the Congress's approval to start another war, because Libya, they overstepped their bounds, and the head of our government, our military, tells the Congress, yeah, we don't need that. We could do, as long as the UN says it's okay, we can do whatever we want. That's not how it's supposed to work. In any case, before I ramble on too long, let me get this things started. It's only about another 6 or 7 minutes or so, and hopefully it will clarify the 2012 boogeyman thing for everybody, because it's not going to be what everybody worries. I mean, we're probably being, set up naturally through the sun and the galactic alignment and the solar flare cycle peaking and all those things for some serious issues. And I'm sure that's what Obama's, going to say, that he is taking back all this, taking on all this new power, is for when all these things happen, instead of actually preparing for them and doing anything to help, beforehand, when it cost pennies on the dollar, not even a penny on the dollar, to protect us against things that can go wrong. We're just going to wait for everything to turn to shit, and then when it costs trillions of dollars that we don't have, we'll just take back all the power that everybody has in their hands of ownership and sovereignty, and we'll call the shots. So, in any case, without further ado, this guy is very interesting, and at the end of the clip, he's going to give you his website. You might want to take a look at it, because he's got some pretty interesting information. Of course, the one caveat is he does fancy himself a wizard, but just because he's a pagan, and, pagan is not an evil word. Pagan is believing in the power of nature, and there is a power to nature. This planet has power, and we, might not think that we're part of it, but every living creature is part of it, because it's all connected. In any case, here we go. Life begins.
Well, that's where life seems to have begun, in the sea. It's been there for a long time. But I personally feel that at the very earliest point, when life first appeared on Earth, that it, in all likelihood, was seeded by comets from space. We have living things today, spores of mushrooms and tardigrades and bacteria and viruses and things which can easily survive indefinitely the vacuums and temperatures of space.
Port Jeff Bay, the ferry, and the town of Port Jeff. Okay.
And they found recently that the interior of comets actually can maintain liquid water in the interior of them, and the outside of them are mostly frozen water, snow. The universe is full of water, and water is the medium which life exists. And I suspect that comets are like sperm zipping around the universe and fertilizing worlds like Earth. So that's my feeling on that.
What's your take on the Mayan calendar date?
Oh, that's such a fascinating thing, this Mayan calendar thing. This is the big year, 2012, and this spring equinox, which we just had yesterday, is the last spring equinox of the age of Pisces. Next year, we will have turned the cycle into a whole new cycle, and it will be the dawning of the age of Aquarius. The Mayan calendar was based on the 26,000-year cycle of the complete precession of the equinoxes.
They divided that time into 5, and they made 5 different calendars, and this is one of them. That's all. No big deal.
To all 12 signs.
And when the 5 are done, guess what? Another 5 start.
The zodiac, although they only recognized, rather than dividing it into 12 segments like we do, they divided it into 6. But the calendar that they're referring to is the long count calendar, which encompasses an entire 26,000-year cycle. And the point of this whole prophecy of this time and the ending of that calendar is that on winter solstice of this year, the most amazing astronomical alignment occurs, and that is that the rising sun at the dawn of winter solstice will be exactly positioned from our perspective over the center of the galaxy. It will cross the meridian of the galactic plane, and just like we have the equinoxes where the Earth's orbit intersects the plane of the ecliptic of the solar system, and that's what gives us the equinoxes, which means equal night, which is the time when the day and night are exactly the same length. So there is a point where the plane of the ecliptic of the entire solar system intersects the plane of the galaxy, which is also a disk. And that happens to be at winter solstice, and this year's, it's finally caught up with it. It's been moving slowly, 72 degrees, 8 degree every 72 years to complete the cycle. And the complete, huge, vast cycle that we've gone through, all of the 12 signs of the zodiac, will reach completion at this particular time. So the Mayan calendar comes to an end, but that doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. This is where everybody's going completely nuts,
Right.
I mean, every year my calendar runs out. Every December 31st, the calendar runs out. And what I do is I go out and get a new calendar and hang it up. That's what the Mayans did. It doesn't mean the end, it means the beginning. One cycle ends, a new cycle begins. And that's what they were talking about. And the Mayan elders have been releasing statements about that, saying that, look, guys, get this right now. We're saying that there's this end of this vast cycle, and that just means it's time for the next cycle to begin. And the fact that this particular alignment is so precisely coordinated with the movement of the planets in the heavens, as well as our concept of the astrological ages, is I think, quite significant. But the neat thing about a date like this, you see, is when we get these dates, they develop a sense of anticipation. We had like the Y2K thing and 2001, the Space Odyssey, and 1984. These become legendary dates, and people start anticipating them. And as they do, they get a mythology wrapped around them. A storyline gets created with them of expectation. And this particular one, it's all going to be about what template of expectation do we have for it. If we anticipate that, it's the end of everything, then people are going to just, go out and kill themselves like people have done before when
Sure.
they thought it was the end of an era, But what I think is much more exciting, and what I've encountered from magical people and shamans and traditional elders, that I've been all over the world, and I've talked to such people. Just November, I was in Australia talking with the Aboriginal elders in the outback of Australia, and I've done this everywhere. There's a common vision that everybody is having about this, and that is that this is the time of the dawning of the awakening of planetary consciousness. And if we have that anticipation, if we put that expectation on it, and as that time draws closer, we get a vast worldwide movement to meditate, envision the dawning of the age of Aquarius, like in the Hare song, and an awakening of global consciousness. This can be what we precipitate, and that will be the new story. And I find that really very exciting.
Could be. Where do we get your new book, Lost Civilizations?
Well, if you can go to my business website, which is Mythic Images. That's where my art, sculpture, and jewelry and books are listed. And
Mythic Images, okay.
Mythic Images, MythicImages, mythicimages.com.
Okay, over and stay with us. We're going to come back in just a moment on Coast to Coast AM. We're going to take final phone calls with you here, and then I'll tell you a little bit of what's in store for the rest of the week here on Coast to Coast AM as well. By the way, those of you coming up for renewal, if you're a Coast Insider, member of the club, just make sure your account information is up to date, so you make that George at Coast2, coasttocoastam.com. We'll be back in a moment with Oberon Zell, and we'll take your final phone calls.
All right, I just wanted to get his name there. Oberon Zell. And I'm supposed to be doing this job. I think this is my house here. I don't know if you could see. That warning sign says, warning, contaminated waters. Do not drink. I don't know if you can see up there on the fence is a warning, do not trespass. It's a new government facility that doesn't really have any sign saying what type of facility it is. But before I'm done, I will hopefully have a better idea of what this new place is they just constructed right down in Port Jeff Station, Port Jeff Village, no less. That apparently might be contributing to. Oh yeah. What? That shit coming out right now. Now, where's all that coming from? That's a good question. Alright, in any case, I love you guys. Don't forget, 6 things: breathe, eat, drink, say, do, think. Be thankful for everything. Love your neighbor, because they are you, and I love you all. See ya!